How do you cope when someone you deeply care about can't seem to find a way to overcome their depression? Let's dive into something deep today. Buckle up. Shout out today goes to Randy. Thank you for your support on the Tep Cancer Out fundraiser. He asked me to review a song that was a tribute to Chris Cornell, who was co-founder of the band Soundgarden, who took his life and had after struggling with depression for most of his life. Am I going to cry with this one? What I find so sad about the Chris Cornell situation is that an hour earlier, he had been performing at the Fox Theater and later goes on and takes his life. What was going through the man's mind to experience what many perceive to be the high of performing in front of a loving and applauding audience, hundreds and thousands of people who love you, who celebrate you, who now goes off to end his life an hour later?
In my eyes, indisposed, in disguises no one knows. Hides the face, lies the snake, and the sun in my disgrace. Boiling heat, summer stains, neath the black, the sky looks dead. Call my name through the cream, and I'll hear you scream again.
Those minor notes there are poignant.
Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole sun, won't you come? Won't you come? Won't you come? Stuttering, cold and damp, still the warm and tired friend. Times are gone for honest men, and sometimes far too long for snakes. In my shoes, walking sleep, and my youth I pray to keep. Heaven sent hell away, and no one sings like you anymore. Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole sun, won't you come? Won't you come? Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole sun, won't you come? Won't you come? Won't you come? Won't you come? till you all just disappear. Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole sun, won't you come? Won't you come? Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole sun, won't you come? Won't you come? Black hole sun, won't you come? Black hole sun, won't you come? Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole sun, won't you come? Won't you come? Black hole sun, black hole sun, won't you come? Black hole sun, black hole sun, won't you come? Ooh, won't you come?
Almost felt like him flying away, the way the camera rose from the Fox Theater. What a beautiful tribute.
Thank you.
I think it's beautiful that she honored him like this. She has a beautiful voice, and I think this particular rendition of such a painful and poignant song, such a poetic song too, was beautifully done. The rasp of her voice, the vibrato, just Norah Jones bringing in her Norah Jonesness into this made it beautiful to listen to, but also so painful. Because, as I said in the beginning, what brings a person to go from experiencing the high that many artists crave, right? Being praised and applauded, having a fan base, to now an hour later going and ending their life. Well, we know of Chris Cornell that he had been struggling with depression all his life. And I think what sometimes people may or may not fail to see, what is hard to grasp sometimes if you're not living that experience or you've not experienced it for yourself, is that depression is something very deep and painful and very isolating. And it takes hard work. It takes therapy, it takes medication and many things to try to find some type of normal. And I use the word normal lightly because what is normal, right? It takes people who really struggle with depression so much effort to even just get up out of bed. So where a person that does not know what that feels like may see someone who's famous, who has money, who has attention, who is popular and beloved, they may go, well, it doesn't make sense. You have all this. You got all this praise. Maybe you're experiencing the adrenaline rush and the dopamine fix of being on a stage in front of all these people. But when you are struggling with depression, that won't fix anything. And as I promised, I was going to talk about what I think may have gone through his head. I wonder if what added to the complete despair of taking that final step to end his life was the fact or the realization, just my theory, that not even a concert, not even the applause of his fans, not even a wonderful evening doing what he loves, which is music, would take away the suffering. And when you get to a point where not even the thing that you may love the most, that brings you joy, that creative outlet that is therapeutic to a lot of people, that helps people get out of the dark hole, when not even that works, I wonder if that feeds into that complete feeling of despair and thinking there's nothing left for me to try. I've tried this, I've tried that. I feel alone, I feel isolated. I've been fighting this for years. I'm in this dark hole. The sun has not come and washed away the rain, this suffering, and not even doing what I love and creating music has fixed this. Even the thing that we would think would make us feel better, people praising us, loving on us, the applause, the high of being on a stage in front of the crowd, the admiration of people, the money that comes with it, the joy of just being a musician and creating and making art. When that doesn't make it better, what is left? And I wonder if that added to the despair. Maybe, we don't know, I don't know what was going on in his mind leading up to this concert. Maybe this was one last final straw of trying one last thing, and maybe something added to the trigger, maybe something triggered him during the concert, before, after, that just led to that decision of, I can't take this anymore. And I want to tell you who know what it's like to struggle with depression, who know what it's like to have suicidal ideation, I plead with you to reach out for help. Call the suicide hotline. You are not alone. It feels that way. It feels that way a lot of times because, and this has been my personal experience, when I am in my lowest low, it's really hard for me to open up to people. It's almost like when I feel just a little bit better, or I feel like I have a little bit of a control over my emotions, then I might be able to talk to the therapist or to a loved one or a friend. But when I'm really in the depth of my anger and my grief and my sadness, when I would actually probably need to talk to someone the most, it is so hard to open up because I feel like I'm going crazy, and because I feel like the emotion are just overwhelming me, that I might just break down. And it's hard to feel vulnerable and safe to completely let another person see the depths of your despair. We might cry a little, we might let person see some of our dismay, but when you've actually felt physical pain, when your heart hurts, physical ailment, when you feel so distraught, and you feel like if you let it go, if you open up just a little bit, it will come crashing down like a flood. And you don't want to burden other people. You might feel like they can't handle it. Or you might feel like, or maybe this has been your experience, whatever they say will just not fix it, or might make it worse, right? Sometimes well-meant advice that backfires and makes it even worse, or sometimes ill-intent advice of people that belittle your turmoil because they don't understand. And I want you to know there are people, though, that feel your pain. There are people, me included, who have been in very dark, dark places and that have made it through. Does that mean that it's all skittle-farting unicorns now, that everything is wonderful? No, life is really hard sometimes, but I know that there is still life. As long as you're still breathing, there is still hope. There is still life. So please reach out for help. I wonder if that played a role in Chris Cornell's journey. This despair and this realization that nothing is fixing this, and then taking that decision to end his life. And what a beautiful way to honor him. It felt, and this is where I was getting a little emotional, like the way she was singing this, the minor notes, as I mentioned earlier, very poignant. It almost felt like she was letting him to rest. And I hope that he has found peace. The poetry of the lyrics was powerful. Black hole sun, wash away the rain. To ask a sun to wash away the rain is so poignant, right? Usually the rain is what does the washing. Lyrics that were powerful, such as, in disguises no one knows, hides the face, lies the snake, and the sun in my disgrace, boiling heat, summer stench. It's painting a very vivid, very painful, very raw and brutal picture. I promised you we would talk about how this ties in with us today. That's what we need to figure out for us, to understand that it might not just be one thing that fixes things for you. If you're struggling with depression, it might not just be the medicine or the therapy. You might try different things that are things you used to love or still do, and you find yourself not relieved. You find yourself not feeling any better. And I would ask you to consider what you are storying to yourself. If you are considering that music is your joy, your painting, your children, your job, whatever brings you joy, and you find yourself doing those things and it doesn't get better, that adrenaline rush, the dopamine fix of being loved by others, by being affirmed, by whatever it takes, it's not doing it. I ask you to consider, what are you storying yourself? If the story was that this thing is my remedy, and if it doesn't fix things, I'm unfixable. If the story that you're telling yourself is, if I don't succeed at this, then I surely must be a failure. This is evidence. But maybe consider that we need to reframe how you are tying your sense of self and worth and hope with those things. Just because the music didn't make you feel better doesn't mean that music has no power whatsoever and that you're beyond help. Just because your career, your hopes for life, what you thought your life would be, didn't turn out the way they were supposed to, doesn't mean that you have failed. It doesn't mean that you're too broken. It does not mean that surely there's nothing else that can help. It might be a combination of all of the things I just mentioned that will contribute to your healing. It might mean that in due time, you will find new joy and passion for things. But just because you're feeling this right now and the depression is not leaving you right now does not mean it never will. So I would encourage you to think about what you're thinking about and ask yourself, what are you storying yourself? The things you feel are tied to what you're thinking. And I'm not talking about just think positive and just manifest and it'll all fix things. Seek therapy, call the suicide hotline. But please know that there are many ways to tell a story. And that your story does not have to end like Chris Cornell's, that there is hope for you and that things can turn around. I speak from own experience and I want to pull you back in to say, fight for yourself, choose life, stand up for yourself, do for yourself what you would have loved to do for Chris Cornell. For those of you who are Chris Cornell fans and are hurt and still, after all these years, grieved by how his story ended, save another life, including your own, because you deserve it. You are loved. You matter. If you want to experience more music with me, subscribe, and I will see you on the next ride.